Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name's Rebecca of Artistrebeccals, and this is the channel where we have fun with art. And today I just found a load of Promarkers. Let's go. Okay everybody, so what are Promarkers? Well, Promarkers are watercolour artist grade pens by Winsor Newton, and I had been sent these from a family relative absolute years ago, and I didn't use them, didn't do anything with them, and I've just come across them now, and I'm so pleased because I actually saw an artist on YouTube using them, and I thought, oh, I'll get a couple of those. I know I've got some somewhere, but I couldn't find them. So luckily I've not placed my order yet on Art Miranda, but I then came across these. So I'm so pleased. I might still buy the odd extra one, but I thought, let's see if they still work. So I'm going to be just using, if it copes, the because I can't use my Crayola Harnemule book yet because it's I'm still using it for, I don't want to open yet another one. I'm using it for the Crayola thing. So let's just see if there's another test for this Canson drawing book. So as I said to you, watercolour won't work. These Promarkers are double-ended, and they are light fast watercolours, so it's a more convenient way of having watercolour professional grade but in a pen. And you can get some ceramic dishes or ceramic palette, scribble in and pick it up with your damp brush. Now this end is, what would you call it, like a brush tip, very fine end, and then this end is the fine bullet tip. I think we'll use this. Oh, it's still quite juicy. It will depend on the paper. I doubt we can. This is so impromptu, completely unprepared, but it does move the pigment. It's a good pigment load there, so you don't need much, and the lines almost go. And it can go on for quite a while, look at that. So that is cadmium red hue. Then we've got this, and this is series 1, by the way. Permanence A, light fastness number 1. They are made in China. And this is I can't even say it, Alizarin Crimson Hue. And it's a transparent one, apparently. They had a little picture on it, I forgot to say. Now this one is cadmium yellow hue, and it could be transparent. I get confused with these boxes, they're clear. Normally, if it's half filled, it means it's like semi-transparent, and if it's coloured in black, it usually means it's opaque. But this is not, unless everything's changed. We'll see. That's a nice one. It seems quite full. Perhaps this is transparent too. Again, this seemed to have more pigment load in it than that crimson. The Alizarin Crimson. It's going to keep making me saying it because I find it difficult. There we go. Now this one is Hooker's Green Dark. Oh, almost dried out. But that's okay, because what we can get out is perfect for the water to reactivate it. And again, that's doing really well. I'd kept these in a Ziploc bag. And this colour, like in my shopping basket on Art Miranda at the moment, this video is like Bastille Day in France I'm recording this, so that is July 14th. And in my basket at the minute is sap green. I wouldn't technically use this hooker's green, so that's okay. Now in my basket is this burnt umber. So do I need to get another one? Probably not, for the amount of time I'll use, which is good. It means I can maybe substitute for a different colour. But that's nice. And then, gosh, look at all of these under here. Oh, now this yellow is lemon yellow hue. Wow, and that's quite a juicy one. Still have some brown left on that, but this is very bright, but quite transparent, I would say. Let's clean my brush there. This one is cerulean blue hue. Ah, and that's juicy. So some of them will last longer than others. Now obviously the hues are very transparent and not a lot of pigment in them, so you can make them very pastel-y. This one is a Prussian blue hue. Let's try this end. That's juicy. Also with these pens, you have to lie them flat. So it could be why one end is more dried out than the other, because they were not being stored flat. I'd put them in a Ziploc bag and I have just shoved them, you know, in a bag somewhere for years. So isn't that brilliant? But they still work. So I'm still thinking hue means transparent. Now, this is the one I'd ordered. Do I have to buy it? Sap green. So I was going for burnt umber and this sap green. Well, that end is quite dried out. What about this end? Now that end isn't, you see? So it all depends. So we got, wow. This is sap green up there. And this is the same colour down here. So you've got two greens in one. That's kind of fun. So it's not. It's because I haven't stored it flat, basically. So that's what happens. So I don't know whether I will be still buying a brown and a sap green, simply because I'll be heavy on them. And also a yellow ochre, which is here. Because they are quite expensive. They're about just under €5. That's quite nice. €5 per pen. Now, that end is almost dried out, but is more close to the colour. Oh, I've got green on it. Silly me. Get rid of that. Yeah, and it does water down quite well, but again, transparent. And I think they all must be transparent. And the last two are a purple and a black. So again, I personally am only thinking of ordering 3 colours. This is black, I gather. Ivory black. And we'll see what this end does. There's that end. And then that end. You see what I mean? Maybe if we shake them. perhaps it will get better, and leave it flat, and then see what we get. So again, quite a lot of pigment there. And this one is violet dioxazine. Quite deep that end, but very light that end. Because again, maybe if we shake, don't know if we can add water to these, because they've obviously gone a little, you know, however much I keep the air from them. My goodness, Bo, look at that intensity. It's gorgeous colour. Wow. Cleaning my brush. Lovely. So, those are the Winsor Newton Promarkers. I will just make a note of that. There we are. And they are professional watercolours in a pen. And I would say they're worth it. You don't need loads of them. I was very kindly gifted for my birthday years back a set of 12. And I wasn't sure really what to do with them. And I wasn't really into pens that you can't refill. But because manufacturers have not made it easy for people like me to be able to refill pens very well, I'm kind of going back to them now. Sorry, landfill. But they help me when I'm tired. I can just grab a pen and I can quickly add colour without having to get tubes of paint out and palettes and, you know, brushes and pots of water. I can just grab this, grab a water brush and the sketchbook, and I can do watercolour very, very quickly. So with all that said, guys, I hope that you found this really quick impromptu video helpful, and that maybe it's inspired you to have a go with your Promarkers. Go find them if you have any, and have another go playing with them if you're sceptical about them. And if not, buy the odd one or two. You don't need a whole set. I actually recommend going for earth tones, particularly if you do landscapes or, you know, garden themed things. And if you do urban things, then you're going to want some grey and ochres, things like that. Still, earth tones will help you. So thank you everybody for watching. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. I love to know what you're up to with your art projects. And I'm going to catch you really soon, guys. Take care. Bye. So I just found the Canson Graduate watercolour sketchbook, and I've just used this purple, the dioxide purple thing, in here next to the Crayolas. And can you see the difference? Now, bear in mind, these pens are seriously old, but this is layer 1. And I love the dark colour. Obviously, the pigment in this book doesn't move. It's a watercolour sketchbook. Canson Graduate, pigment doesn't move. So just keep that in mind, particularly if you're using pens. So, not great, but it's a kind of watercolour paper. And which is why I wanted to see if you can do layers and, you know, use them. I'm going to try Cardi paper next. Okay, so I've used it on the Cardi paper, and I scribbled on a silicone mat and picked it up, and was, you know, it's okay, because when you use the pen directly, it's still, no matter what paper you use, it could be because they've dried and concentrated a bit, but it leaves marks that you can't really get rid of, compared to, say, Crayola. And this is the Venetia sketchbook by Fabriano. Used the Burnt Umber Pro Marker and you can see not much movement. You've got a lot of the marks of the pen here. So, not the best sketchbook, but it does give you an interesting, different effect. It's very sketchy. So I succumbed to my Harlem Mule bamboo sketchbook, and it's the last page in it that is dedicated to only Crayola markers. I thought I could justify the very last back page just to test if the Promarkers, even though they're old, whether they would work. And we still have the marks not dissolving. And this carmine is terribly weak. There's hardly any pigment in it at all. But the yellow has stood up well. But I think I am still going to buy burnt umber, sap green, and a yellow ochre. Those are my main colours. So yeah, I have tested many sketchbooks. I just found my Bockingford watercolour paper sketchbook that I made myself, and I tested one of the Promarkers and it has worked perfectly. So it is all about the paper. And Bockingford is quite reasonable it's quite affordable, depending on the country that you're in. Obviously Bockingford is United Kingdom paper, but it's worked really well.